Hey everyone, Justin here, coming at you with an exercise that when you study the most successful people, not only in sales, but in all professions, they all do this exercise. But a vast majority of people, not only do they not do this exercise, but they don't even like it. And I'll tell you why. And it's all about defining your core values. Now, what I'm going to do in this video today is break down what they are, why you should care, and why you should do this. I'm going to give you an exercise of how to do it, a 3-step exercise using the 5-10-3 method. And then what we're going to end with, I'll give you an example. I'll show you my core values that I've identified for myself over time. So let's get right into it. The first thing I'm going to talk through is, why don't people do the core values? Well, let's think about it. For most of you that work at companies, your only experience dealing with core values is the values that are outlined by the company. And let's be real, most of those words are just words on a wall, and they're not lived by the company. So because your only experience witnessing core values being leveraged is a negative experience, it makes perfect sense why you don't want to do them in your personal life. But if you do them, they're powerful. And if you study the most successful companies in the world, companies like Salesforce, who lived and breathed their values from day one, that's a big part of why they've been able to grow over time, because they live their values. Same goes for you as a person. So what a core value is, it's a defining word that is aligned with your identity. Another way to think about it is, hey, you could say whatever you want about me, but you're not questioning this word, right? Whatever that is for you. So think about those things in your life that are non-negotiable things. And those are your core values. They should evoke emotions. Basically, if someone challenges that aspect of your identity, it should create a lot of friction and your blood should boil a little bit. I'm not saying you react, but that's a great way for you to kind of know like what core values really are. Something that's aligned to your identity. Why should you care? Because life is crazy and you're going to be pulled in a lot of different directions. So by having a guiding set of principles to help put bumpers on your decision making is going to, number one, help you make decisions faster. And the most successful people out there make decisions rapidly because they learn from their decisions and then they reiterate, right? So by having a guiding set of principles that speeds up your decision making, you're going to move faster, be more productive, achieve higher and higher limits. What it's also going to help you do is stay on the right path. And I'll give you an example of a document that is the most popular book in the world, and it's the Bible. Now, I'm not a religious person, but what I can't deny is the 10 Commandments are a great set of principles for you to think about, because even if you're not religious, thou shalt not steal, love thy neighbor, don't cheat, right? If you just follow those principles, you'll be on a better path than if you weren't, right? So it's a guiding set of principles that are going to help you and just help simplify your world. Because if you don't have those guiding set of principles, it makes it easier for you to stray off path. So that's why it's really important for you to do that. It's important for you to do this exercise because it'll provide a lot of clarity for you in the future. Now, the thing to note about core values is they evolve over time. And that's completely okay and that's expected. The things that are aligned with your identity right now will be different 5, 10, 20 years from now. So don't be afraid to reiterate this over time. And if you've never done this before, it's okay. No one's experts at this the first time. So understand they're going to evolve over time, because what I have for mine right now certainly wasn't what I had years ago. So that's the what and the why. How do we do this? And the way we do this is using the 50-10-3 method. And I'll break this down into a 3-step process. So the first thing I recommend, if you're going to go through this exercise, is get yourself in a place that isn't in your normal environment. It's distraction free. Go to a park, go to a coffee shop, go to a library, whatever it is. Get out of your normal environment, because you're going to do a lot of self-reflection through this exercise. Okay. Some people can do it in 30 minutes. Some people it takes a week, right? Every person's different, but find a place where you can be distraction free and get yourself in a good state. Get a good night of sleep, put the right food in your body, get some exercise, get the blood flowing. All of that will help you execute this exercise more effectively. So the first thing you're going to do is, when you sit down, is you're going to write down 50 words that mean something to you. Now, if you need help, Google is your friend. You can Google value words And there's nothing wrong with that for this first step, just to get the ball rolling, right? And pick 50 words that evoke some type of emotion. And the reason why you know is like read a word, and if you don't say, yep, that's me, like immediately in some way, rule it out. Okay. So step one is get your 50 words down. Don't overthink this. Google is your friend here because we're going to narrow this down. And that's what the next step is. The next step is 10. So once you have your 50 words identified, what you're going to do is you're going to go through every single one of them and you're going to compare them to one another. So let's say 2 words are integrity and work ethic, right? If those are 2 words, which one do you value more? Okay, let's say integrity is higher than work ethic. Great. So then integrity is higher. Then you compare work ethic to collaboration. Okay, collaboration against work ethic. Okay, work ethic beats collaboration. And you keep repeating this process until you eliminate the 40 words that aren't in your top 10. And then after you have your top 10, you repeat the same thing to identify your top 3. I recommend 3. It works well for me. That's what I use. Some people have 2, some people have 5. For me, the rule of 3 has always been helpful for me, but I'm not perfect. I'm no guru on this. So don't feel like it has to be 3. But if this is your first time doing it, I recommend this is a good starting point. Starting with 50 words. Again, Google's your friend. Don't overthink it. Compare them to get to the 10 and then get down to the 3. And again, your gut should tell you these are words that align with your identity. But as I said earlier, your words are going to evolve over time, right? How you think now is going to be different than how you think a year from now, right? So don't worry if you go through this exercise and you get to your bottom 3 and you're like, man, I'm not, filled with emotion of every other word. That's okay. This is new. This is new to you. That's completely normal. But by going through this exercise, that alone is going to give you a lot of clarity. And remember, the whole goal of this is to give you clarity and help guide your decision making, right? Because you're going to have to make hundreds and thousands of decisions over your life. Every single one of them, if you don't have a framework to help guide it through guiding principles, things that align with your identity, you're going to struggle. And it's going to make things harder for you. Okay. So that's the what, that's the why, that's the how. Now let me give you an example by explaining what mine are. So my first value, and again, this is just me. Don't steal my words. Use your own words, but I'm just giving you what I go through. So my first word that aligns with my core value is execute. Now, this word has evolved over time. I've used things like work ethic, things like hungry. Over time, all these things have evolved, right? Because I'm just like you, I'm learning through this process. But execute, when I think about execute, it's very simple. I control the things that are 100% in my control, point blank, end of story. What I put in my body, how I control my reaction to tough situations, how I communicate. All of these things go into how I make decisions every day. And this is how I hold myself accountable. Am I controlling what's 100% in my control? Because my identity says I execute. And that's what I do. That's who I am. I'm someone that executes. But that's me. Again, your words are going to be your words. So that's my first word that I use. The next one that I use is evolve. So evolve is constantly getting better every day. Right? The version of me today is better than the version of me a year ago, and so on and so forth, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So the way I think about myself, something that's aligned with my identity, is all aspects of my life, whether that's my career, my craft, my emotions, my relationship, my finances, how I think about making memories and experiences, right? All of those things, I'm constantly trying to raise the bar for myself, because even if it's a tiny bit, over time, those start to compound, especially when you're working on all areas of your life. So again, this is how I think about it and how I've arrived to it. I'm someone that evolves, period, point blank, end of story. The last one I do is enjoy. So this one was probably the hardest for me to get to over time, because one of the things that people that are very hungry or ambitious or achievers, I think it's called this achiever's disease or something like that. One of the things that they struggle with, and I was included, is I would set 10 goals for myself. And if I only achieved 9, I wasn't happy about the 9. I was mad about the one that I didn't achieve, which it's great because it keeps you hungry and you achieve more. But if you're not enjoying yourself, what the hell is the point? You can have all the money in the world, you can have all the success on paper, but if you're not enjoying yourself, what's the point, right? So that's one of the things that I evolved to over time. Choose and evolve. One of the things that I evolved to over time is making it a priority for me to enjoy every day, celebrating the small milestones, practicing gratitude, being grateful that I'm above ground because there's going to be a time when I'm not, right? Enjoy the journey because I only got one shot of this thing called life. So these are my values. Again, this is just mine. Don't steal mine unless they mean something to you, if they resonate with you. But I hope this is helpful by defining your core values. It's going to give you a set of principles that help you make better decisions, make decisions faster, keep you on the right track, and just help you continue to raise your game. So my name is Justin J. Johnson, founder and creator of Beautiful Savage Sales Academy. Thank you for your time. Go burn it down.